We got some work scandals. My new manager is someone I slept with years ago. He doesn't know we have a child. Oh boy. This story was first posted October 16th, 2023. The backstory. I went to university in my late 20s to do my PhD, and I shared an office with a few other students for many years. One of the students, Jacob, completed his thesis and was moving back to his home country, so we all went out for congratulatory and farewell drinks. One thing led to another, and Jacob and I spent the night together. A few weeks later, I realized I was pregnant, and I had no way to contact Jacob. His university email and mobile number had been deactivated since he had left the university and the country. I didn't need anything from him, and it was fine to raise the child alone, but I thought he had a right to know. I Googled him a few times over the years, but never found him. This last week, our department head emailed everyone to introduce and welcome our new manager, Jacob, with a photo and a blurb about his education and work history, so I know for sure it's him. The night we spent together changed my life because it made me a parent, so I have thought about Jacob from time to time when my daughter asks about her dad, or I notice a genetic trait she didn't get from me. However, I doubt Jacob has given that night a second thought. I have no idea whether he will have any concerns about being my manager given our history, or whether I'm making a bigger deal of this than I should. For what it's worth, in my years of sharing an office with Jacob, he seemed easygoing and practical. In our company, it is common for everyone in the department to reply all to these introduction emails and to introduce ourselves, welcome the newcomer aboard, and explain how their role will interact with others. I'm not sure if my email should note that Jacob and I studied together years ago as a way to get this out in the open. Or should I email him individually and offer to have a discussion about keeping our history out of the workplace if he thinks it's needed? I'd appreciate any suggestions for language that indicates I'm not concerned and I will be completely professional. Girl, I would be losing my damn mind when I saw that email come through with his little picture. I don't know how you're so calm. Maybe you weren't calm in the moment. You probably weren't very calm in the moment, right? Or am I crazy? Well, that's a whole other story. And then in direct contradiction to that, I'd also appreciate a script for a separate email saying, can we please meet outside of work because I need to tell you something important about our history, so that I can tell him about his daughter. If you or any commenters think I shouldn't tell him or I should let him settle into his new country and new job first, I would definitely take that on board. Don't worry, we have an update, but this is a pinned comment from her on this first post because people were asking her why she didn't contact him or try harder, I guess. The extent to which I tried to find Jacob wasn't relevant to my question, so I didn't include the efforts that I went to. For the commenters who are curious, understandably, I really did try when I first found out that I was pregnant. I asked the other people we shared an office with, but no one had any information. We were students who shared an office and sometimes went to the university bar together. We never spent any time together outside of university. I asked Jacob's thesis supervisor, but it was Christmas/Australian summer here, so he was on leave for 2 months. When he got back, he gave me the address on Jacob's file, which of course, the Australian address that he didn't live at anymore. The university had a next of kin Australian contact number on file for his aunt, but no one ever answered it when I called. Jacob is Chinese with a very common surname, and Jacob is just the name he used in my country. I don't know his actual given name, so any attempts to find the correct Mr. Wong in a country where they don't use Google or Facebook went nowhere. I searched for recent publications about Jacob's thesis topic and found a paper with Jacob Wong as one of the authors. I contacted the corresponding author and I asked for Jacob's email, but they never responded. By this point, I had to give up and I needed to focus on my baby's health. Thank you for clarifying. All right. Because in my head, I'm like, how did you not find him? we can understand the situation is hard. I'm sure she very much wanted to find him to let him know, right? I am very, very nosy and curious about how Jacob is going to handle this news. Hey, welcome back to the country. Here's your new job. Remember that one night? Yeah, I've been raising your child.
You have a daughter.
Please film that. I want to see it. All right, the first update came 8 months later, which was June 11th, 2024. I was viewing the Jacob as my manager problem from his perspective until I told him otherwise. It was just a simple one-night stand over a decade ago, and it didn't seem like a huge problem. I hated and appreciated the reality check. I kind of regret reading the comments. A lot happened in a short space of time. Thankfully, I already had a therapist. First, I spoke to my union rep who said, "Say nothing, but call us if HR tries to set up a meeting with you." Staying silent and having Jacob independently declare the prior relationship when he arrived would have been problematic because I'd still end up in the same position and I would have lied by omission. Our HR team can be gossipy and they know the age of my half Chinese daughter, so I needed to have as much control as possible over the disclosure. I spoke to an employment lawyer who reviewed our policies, and at his suggestion, I wrote an email to HR declaring a prior relationship with Jacob. And then I was immediately pushed out. Even if you have all the legal support in the world, you can't prevent someone from doing something illegal. You just have recourse afterwards. In a meeting with my lawyer, the union rep, HR, and a member of the senior management team, I was asked to resign.
Why?
Oh, I did not expect that. I did not know that's where this story was going. Here I was just thinking about their one night stand. Not even about her job position. When I said no, they insisted on a statutory declaration about the relationship with Jacob, stating what happened, when it happened, how many times it happened, and who initiated it. I also said no to that. We ended the meeting with each side agreeing to think about possible solutions. This happened so long ago. What do you mean? The company's solution was to start messing with my pay, my benefits, my swipe card access to my office, my computer login, and my email and calendar account. They spread rumors about me, and I heard coworkers whispering that I had an affair with a manager. Are they taking this as brand new information as if it just happened? What's going on? They sent me for a random drug test at a time when I was scheduled for an important meeting with clients. They canceled accommodation that had been booked for upcoming travel, which I only found out about because I was getting paranoid and I called the hotel. I can't describe how awful it feels to know that someone with this kind of power over your job is devoting their time and energy to thinking of ways to screw with you. Wait, is this Jacob's doing? Where is Jacob in all of this? Every day I was going into work wondering what was waiting for me, and it was wearing me down fast. The advice from the union rep was to go back in time and follow their first piece of advice, or just keep documenting everything as we prepared to take legal action. The lawyer estimated that it would take at least a year to get to any kind of resolution, and I didn't even want the job anymore. By this point, I wasn't sleeping much and I had cried a few times at work. I was beginning to crack, and we were only just getting started. So I resigned. No! I'm pissed. Oh, I'm pissed. I wish I'd held up better under the pressure, but it was all too much with the looming deadline of Jacob's start date at our office. Oh, so Jacob doesn't even know any of this is going on. This was before he even got there. And whatever way HR was going to drag him into this. I'm lucky that I can take my time looking for a new job, so I've had some space to process everything. Outside of the work stuff, I spoke with a family lawyer who outlined all the possible ways this situation could go, and what the most likely outcomes were. Basically, my daughter is old enough that what she wants would get heavily weighted by the court if it came to that. I have spoken to my daughter many times about her father. I told her what I knew about him and that I have tried to contact him. I've offered her to see a therapist if she ever wanted to talk about it with someone who wasn't me, and she's always said thanks, but no thanks. The family lawyer helped me write a letter, which I left for Jacob. I told him about his daughter, said I wasn't trying to get anything from him, and I gave him the contact details of my lawyer. After a few weeks of me freaking out that HR had somehow intercepted the letter, he emailed the lawyer.
Oh, okay.
He was the easygoing and practical Jacob I remembered. He was still processing it, but said he wasn't going to take any legal steps. He offered us his family medical history. He apologized if I resigned because of him. And he said he would like to meet our daughter if she's interested. Holy crap, Jacob. Round of applause for Jacob for handling that news like an absolute boss. Respectfully, kindly, with an apology. All right. Okay. She also has some siblings. I told her all of this. She said that she's happy she has her father's contact info, but she doesn't want to meet him right now. She's of the view that having him in our lives would cause unwanted disruption, and she doesn't even know about the work clusterfudge. All right, but fear not. We do have some more updates because I want to know if they ever meet. Don't you want to know if they ever meet? Because I do. Let's hydrate though. I'm thirsty. Cheers. Drink your water and be kind to people. Because why not? Kindness is free and it's actually very easy. The next update came very recently, June 9th, 2025, which was 1 year later than the last one. I am incredibly grateful for the support you all gave me at a stressful time, so I thought I would share a final update. My daughter changed her mind and has been in contact with Jacob. It's still a bit awkward between them, but they have some hobbies in common, which they have bonded over. My daughter also seems very excited to have some new siblings who adore their cool new big sister. I know some people were wondering why my old company reacted the way they did. Yeah. For reasons I can't go into, my work gets scrutinized by outside authorities and my manager's role is primarily a quality control one. Any suggestion that my manager had not checked my work impartially enough due to a personal relationship could have been career-ending for both of us. What do you do for work? I have so many questions. Additionally, the work I do is in a very specialist field, and there are only a handful of people in the country who do it. Another company in a similar field had initially approached Jacob, who has held an amazing career by the sounds of it, to start a new development at their company doing the same thing. My old company paid a buttload of money to lure him over so he wouldn't be in direct competition for clients and employees. Oh, okay. Jacob, what do you do for a living? Tell us. Tell me. I'm so nosy. Give me all the details. All of this meant that I couldn't report to Jacob. There was no other manager I could report to, and the company couldn't risk him going back to their competitor. Between the two of us, Jacob was the better asset to keep and the worst threat to lose. I'm not excusing the behavior of my old company, but there was logic to it. I'm still angry about the way they treated me and how helpless I felt, but that is slowly fading over time. I had trouble finding a new job. Financially, we were okay, so I was being picky. Example, wanting to stay in my current city. After almost a year out of work, Jacob told me he had been approached by the first company who still wanted him to start their new department. He was happy at my old company, but he offered to take the new role if I wanted to try to get my old job back. I would never ask him to do that, and I also never want to go anywhere near that company again. So I said no. Thank God. You've seen how they treat you in times of need, so. Jacob turned the other company down, but gave them my name. It's a step up from where I was, but they interviewed me and I got the job. Oh my God, another round of applause for Jacob. He really is a stand-up guy. I don't even know him, but I am impressed with how he has handled this whole situation. I have been here about 6 months and it's enjoyable so far. Plus, I've never procreated with anyone in my chain of command, so it seems like a good place to work. I have hired one of my former coworkers, plus 2 recent graduates from my alma mater who are bright, motivated, and quickly getting up to speed. Unlike my old company, we don't have a lengthy wait list for our services yet, so a few clients have started coming to us instead of them. I am delighted that I am becoming the very threat my old company was trying to avoid when they pushed me out. Yes, girl! What a happy ending. Can we all guess what they do for a living? Is it like only some people in the country do it? Is this like plastic surgery and they're just like really good at it? Like, what is this for? It's got to be some type of like surgical. No, I could be way off. Everyone guess. What do we think their job is? Am I overreacting? My coworker harasses me about my masculinity and DM'd my wife. Oh boy. I think I say that before every story. This was posted. Oh, we are hot and fresh, baby. This is hot off the press. June 24th, 2025. I am currently dealing with a work situation that I, 28 male, need advice on before work. I go to the gym about every other day. Okay. Do we need to know that information? Probably. I'm hardly shredded, but I've gone enough that you can see my muscles when I come into work in short sleeves. I wouldn't describe myself as a gym bro or a gym rat. I really just go for my overall health. Anyways, I work in an office with maybe 25 to 30 people that work there. We mainly do business to business sales and supply, not really relevant to the story. Anyway, I get to work one day wearing a polo and a couple of girls and guys in the office were asking me if I had been working out recently, and I told them that I had. It wasn't flirtatious or anything like that. I think they were just giving me a friendly compliment, plus I'm married, but as we're discussing me working out, my coworker, Gary, 40 male, walks in. Gary is a lot. He's one of those guys who constantly talks about how much he benches, his gains, and generally just tries to protect his super intense alpha male image, which is annoying, but none of my business really. I think we can all say we know someone like that or have known someone like that. Oh my God, especially in my 20s.
Those boys, man.
Oh yeah, I knew them. I work out every day, but you don't see me out here talking about it like that. What's the point? This is where the problem starts. Someone asked me what my max bench was. I told them honestly, and Gary, who is lurking nearby, scoffed loudly. He then proceeded to tell me in front of like 5 other coworkers that my number, which is 170, was pathetic and that I clearly wasn't a real man or an alpha. I hate Gary already. Gary is someone I would never be friends with. Not my vibe. He then went on a tirade about how men need to be strong and dominant, etc. It was super uncomfortable. I tried to just laugh it off and change the subject, but it didn't work. Since then, it's gotten worse. Every single day, Gary makes some kind of comment. If I'm getting coffee, he'll ask if I'm strong enough to lift the pot. If I'm walking by my desk, he'll flex and ask if I'm inspired yet to hit the weights like a real man. I have tried ignoring him, giving him short answers, even politely telling him to knock it off. Nothing works. He just laughs and says that I need to grow thicker skin. That's how I feel. Then this is where I start to lose my a little. My wife, 27 female, texted me a screenshot yesterday. It was a DM from Gary. It was a picture of him flexing in the mirror with some ridiculous caption about being a true alpha, and I have a burp or throw up because Gary is making me nauseous. and how real women know what's up. We have the screenshot. I'm furious. I shouldn't even look at this. I'm going to, obviously. Where is it? I'm gonna be so pissed. I just know it. He wrote, "Hey." Wife wrote back, "Do I know you?" And he wrote, "I work with husband. If you're looking for a real man, let me know. He wouldn't know what to do with you. No idea how you're with such a weak man." Gary. With talk like that, let me tell ya, I was expecting more, okay? Wow, you have, the only big thing on that body is that mouth, all right? Like, pipe down, Gary. I was picturing The Rock, quite literally. I'm like, okay, yeah, he's, you know, competitive, I was picturing Dwayne The Rock Johnson size. Okay. This is even more embarrassing for Gary, but all right. All right, we're not gonna body shame Gary. He works out, he's healthy, whatever. I was just expecting more for all the shit you were talking, is all I'm saying. He'd somehow found her social media and sent her this unsolicited picture and message. I was beyond furious. I wanted to march over to his desk and punch him, but I knew that would only make things worse. I'm starting to dread coming to work. It's constant, it's demeaning, it's making me feel genuinely small and uncomfortable, and now he's involving my wife. Am I overreacting to this? Is this just typical guy banter that I'm not getting? Should I just suck it up and ignore him? Or is this actually something worth addressing with HR? I feel like if I tell HR, it might just add fuel to the fire, but if I come down to his level and respond violently, I'll lose my job. We do have a mini update on this post. I'm going to take this to HR tomorrow. Thank you guys for letting me know the severity of this. Yes. What do you mean? I don't care if it's male or female. It's rude, it's demeaning, it's harassment, it's body shaming, it's inappropriate. Absolutely. If this guy's not fired by the next update, I'm gonna have to book an extra therapy session this week. All right? We have an update that came 2 days later, June 26th. Just wanted to update everybody. After my last post, I ended up going to HR. I honestly didn't think HR would do much because Gary is a good employee in terms of performance, but surprisingly, they took my complaint very seriously and were in disbelief when I showed them the screenshot of the DM he sent to my wife. The next day, Gary was not at the office, so I wasn't sure if they had fired him or if he was just on a suspension at first. But our boss told us to let his clients know that he was out for the day if they called the office. So I assumed that meant he just got suspended. He was back this morning. Oh my God. What was it, a 1-day suspension? Usually he greets me with some kind of smart remark, but today he was really quiet and seemed to be avoiding eye contact with me. When I went to grab some coffee out of the break room a little after that, he came in there and asked if we could talk for a second. He proceeded to tell me that HR laid into him big time and they told him that if he pulled anything like that again, it would result in termination. He then proceeded to apologize to me for everything and said that as pathetic as it sounds, he was just upset that nobody ever compliments him on going to the gym despite how much he spends time in the gym in his free time. You wanna know I've learned something? Let me just say, without giving too much info, I've dated a person like this before. A gym bro. A meathead, as they say. And I've had friends as well in the past, in my 20s, around a lot of guys that were very alpha male gym bros, all right? One thing I learned is that they are the most insecure people you will ever meet. And you'll never know that because they don't want you to know that. But they are very insecure. A lot of them. I can't speak for everyone, but that is just my experience. And I'm sure that could be said maybe for girls too. I don't know. People in general. He said it hurt that people acknowledged me when going to the gym wasn't a big deal for me as it was for him. He then asked for my forgiveness. I honestly felt kind of bad for him at the moment. It was really kind of pathetic, but he did seem sorry, so I told him I accept his apology, but if he ever messages my wife on anything again, he'll have a lot more to worry about than an HR complaint. He again apologized. I don't know if the situation is fully resolved given it's only been half a day, but Gary has been quiet and not at all like himself. We'll see if this lasts, but his apology felt genuine, so hopefully this is the last update I'll have to give on the situation. Thank you to everyone who encouraged me to go to HR. There were a lot of people that pointed out that Gary must be dealing with a lot of insecurities, and I think they were right. There's a few things I want to address that were questions in my last post. How did Gary have my wife's info? He found her Instagram. A lot of people thought he somehow got her number, which wasn't the case. Is this a made-up story? No. If you look at my comment history, you will see a screenshot of the Instagram DMs comment on my last post. It's so cartoonish that it sounds like fiction, but believe me, this is what people who buy into the red pill bull BS are like. You'll probably encounter your own Gary at some point if you haven't already. Do I really bench 170? When I said I bench 170, I meant that I bench 4 sets of 12 at 170. I've never done a single rep max. Does Gary have a wife? No, from my understanding, Gary is divorced and has been single for a while. You know what? At the end of the day, if Gary takes accountability and apologizes and changes his behavior, we'll take it. We'll take it. But I think Gary should work on some of his inner insecurities, because life would be a lot happier, you know, for everybody. Today I wrapped my coworker's vehicle in cling film. Is that like another word for like plastic wrap, like saran wrap? Today's my last day at my current job. I'm 24 female and I work as a chef. I've had issues with this other coworker, or should I say, she has major issues with me. I am married to a woman. She does not like that. See the issue? I've remained civil though. I have kept my head down and tried my best to brush off the nasty comments throughout the last year of us working together. I got a new job Sunday. My job doesn't require me to work a notice, so today was my last day. My wife and I batch cook our meals, so we recently went into a wholesaler's to buy bigger amounts of ingredients. I bought 3 boxes of cling film, the really big ones that we use in the kitchens, 1 for home, 2 in my car. I got an early finish today, being my last day. We park our car in an underground and everyone kinda has a space. It's public parking, we just get free, so I know where she parks her car. I go there. It's hard to get it to cling at first, but oh boy, when I did. I sadly only took 1 progress picture when the roll disconnected. Since it was a public car park, I wanted to skip on out of there. I unloaded the 2 rolls. Once it was done, I put a bow on it. Her car looks like it was shipped from Amazon, LOL. All it needs is a little name and shipping address, and off she goes. I am delighted with myself. I finally, after a year, got harmless petty revenge. I know it's going to be a long day today, and I know this will make it worse, just like she's been doing to me since the beginning of time. I can already hear the sigh she's gonna let out when she sees it. Does that do any damage to the car? Surely they have security cameras in that parking garage. Would that do any kind of damage to a car? I'm not his wife, I'm his coworker. Why does he act like this? Coworker Rick, 30, 40 male, okay, well that's a big jump, 30 or 40, who went through an ugly divorce this year and has shared custody of children. Coworkers love him and I've told him, how can his wife leave him? And it's his wife's fault. He's a good father. I am seeing this other side of him within 2 months of me working with him. In the first month of working with him, he has jokingly said that I think I am better than everyone, that I will throw him under the bus, that I'm looking for problems and mistakes, and I'm going to get him in trouble. These persistent statements have continued, even though I have reassured him that I am not concerned about his work and that he is hardworking and does a good job. I am also leaving in 2 months. My job is temporary, so I really do not care and I respect his work. The most concerning is a statement when he was having a bad morning upon coming in. You drink energy drinks every day, and at every job you go to, you are the problem. And a patient is dead, and it is because of you, since you struggled with him yesterday. What? Why would you say any of those things to anybody? Rick apologized next week about this, which from all of this, I have not given him a response. He will be in this good mood and we will have a positive, great conversation. Then the week later, you have only worked one job in your whole life. Then the next week, you purposely locked the door. It was because you didn't do that one thing this morning. You did that on purpose. It was because of this and blah, blah, blah. Some of this goes through my head because it's just a jab upon jab, and I attribute it to his anxiety and paranoia leaking out. I dread working with him and clock in on the dot because every minute is a minute that I hear his crap. Paper prints off from the printer and it's my job to look at it. Rick snaps, "Stop touching my work," within an earshot of a coworker. This week, "Are you leaving at 4? I am scheduled until 4:30. No, 4:30. He says, F. The final straw when I ordered assistance or help to do a job that is our task, he says, "Are you just gonna boss me around? Is this going to be all the time, trying to hurt my feelings?" That was the final straw. After crying literal tears at home and my gut telling me that this man is verbally abusive, my resignation notice was sent early. We do have an update. I spoke with HR, specifically a really nice dude who was friendly and approachable to me when I did my onboarding. I did ask him to promise me not to intervene or act unless I make it so. Why? I feel like he won't break this promise. If he did mention that there was a member on my team that he did not get along with, it was not Rick. But yes, we both have had promises not to share. We discussed Rick's behavior and he listened. He wanted me to stay after hearing that the sole reason was because of Rick, and he really attempted to ask me if there was protective ways and changes he could make, aka have me change shifts, have someone come in during the shifts that Rick and I work together, talk to Rick about EAP counseling, etc. This was an under the table conversation, but I am optimistic and relieved that this was done. I am still leaving the job, as normally the outcome does not bode well for those that go to HR. Oh, well, I'm sorry you had to leave your job. You know, it really sucks when you have to leave a job over someone else's behavior. It's like, I like the job and the people. I just don't like you. Let me know your thoughts and feelings. I'll see you in the comment section. Stay classy out there. Stay sassy.